It is my proud privilege to give a brief introduction to you, as if you don't know and need an introduction, sir. But as is the protocol, Professor Dr. V. Saravanan is a senior assistant professor from the Department of English, is joining us from the School of Social Sciences and Languages at the Vellore Institute of Technology. He has done his master's, his MPhil at the Presidency College Chennai, his PhD from Anna University Chennai in English language teaching on the role of English in engineering graduates placement, a study. With an experience of 19 years in teaching and research, he has presented his papers in national and international conferences of repute, widely and focusing mainly on the expertise on ELT, language and literature, communication skills and soft skills, having attended significant numbers of workshops, faculty development programs, for his professional development. And for us here, it is an honor to have you, sir, as you've worked as a placement officer and have conducted placement training programs at various engineering colleges. You've conducted several teacher training workshops on better teaching methodologies, better classroom management for school teachers and college faculty members. You give career guidance and motivational talks for school and college students. And today, we're privileged to have you here to share your experience and expertise on the art of getting published in UGC and Scopus. The first session we started with the beginning of research, that is the review of literature. It is worthwhile to see that the second session deals with the end product of our research that is getting published. I leave the mic to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, ma'am. Shabina, right? Thank you so much, and it's indeed my proud privilege and honor to be with you all and on this wonderful occasion. And greetings from Vellore Institute of Technology, VIT Vellore, and thank you everyone for this wonderful opportunity. I must take this opportunity to thank the Cape Comorin Trust for giving me this lead in getting connected with the elitist of the elitist people of across the spectrum. And good evening, everybody. And today, I would like to share my experiences with you all publishing in especially publishing and writing research paper, publishing and writing for patents and getting patents. All these things we will discuss. And why should we write? What is writing, especially? That's what I would like to know. Why should we write? And why should we do research? And I would like to make this session more interactive one. Please, you can unmute yourself and speak, and you can also predominantly use this chat box just to get in touch with me. Good evening again. Am I audible? First of all, one of you can unmute and
yes.
Thank you for the confirmation. Let's go ahead with this thing. Why should we write? Can't we thrive without writing? And why should we write? First of all, and without writing also we can teach, and chalega like this we can do and thrive in this world. And who is stopping us from writing? First of all, that is what I am again asking. And why people don't write normally? It is Francis Bacon rightly says, "Reading maketh a full man, conference a ready man." What we are doing is conference, and writing an exact man. So if why this is the thing? If I say, look at somebody and say, "I love you," then that girl or see the person will take it in a lighter vein and go. And because, hey, come on, he is not in a good mood, so he's proposing me like this. Otherwise, he's kidding me like this. Suppose the same thing, I write it in a paper and give it to that particular girl. Otherwise, the person, what will happen? That is become a big thing for the girl as well as for me also. So that is why writing is something like a very, very riveting thing. It is an exact thing. So that's why, let's say 1,000+ years back, 1,000 years, almost 900 to 1,000 years back, this Francis Bacon, the greatest philosopher, the father of English essays, he has put it this way. And why should we write first? Before writing, what comes? And why should we write? Who can write? Please unmute yourself and speak. Why should we write? Unless and until we know the purpose of this writing, nobody will know write. That is the thing. and people are reluctant to do this thing. And please, Vidya ma'am, you have raised your hands, and most welcome to unmute and speak. You can stop me anytime, anytime during this yes session, and you can talk as well as you can write in the chat box. Please let us make it more convenient for either side. Yes, please. Aishwarya madam, you have raised your hands, please.
Good evening, sir. Hello. Good evening, sir.
May I kindly request Samta Sharma to kindly mute their voice, their microphone while Ms. Aishwarya is asking her question or responding.
I'm responding to sir's question. Why do we write?
Why do we write? Yes, yes.
Good evening, sir.
Could you, Samta ma'am? Yes, ma'am. Could you please repeat it again? Because there was some interruption. I couldn't get your voice. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You're audible. Go ahead, ma'am. Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Sir, you asked why do we write?
Why should we write? And why
yes,
do we
why
write?
should we write? We write to register our thoughts. It's to register.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah. Good. So, what exactly happens when it comes to research writing? What is the difference between that whatever comes to our mind we write, and that becomes something like free writing? Otherwise, people call it creative writing, and writing for hobby. Otherwise, writing for killing the time. Sometimes when it comes to research, and it is not that way, and we need to be really conscientious as well as conscious about what we are saying, and with analytical bent of mind we are penning down things. So it is not an easy affair, I would say. Yes. So what is that exactly we do when it comes to research writing? And how do we do research? What is that we do exactly? Like, I must thank Professor Panda ji for simplifying my job. He has made my job pretty much easier by giving a lot more thing on research writing, and again all this research gap, finding the research gap, and all. I was fortunate enough to listening to this peeping in, and again listening to him, and right. So let's go ahead with what is research? Why do we do research? Should we do research first of all?
Excuse me, sir. Just 1 second, sir. The participants have kindly requested to put your microphones on mute. Kindly, Rakshanda ji, please. Thank you so much. So sorry to intervene, sir.
Kindly. No way, ma'am. It's not at all an inconvenient. It is really no pleasure. Yes, please. Izar, sir, you have raised your hand. Please go ahead, sir. You can unmute and speak, and it will be nice, sir. Izar, sir. Izar will Mani, sir. Am I audible? Once again, could you please confirm? Because this technical glitches would be there.
Yes, sir, you're very much audible.
Okay, fine. Let's go ahead with the research. Research. We need to search and search. That's what research is all about. And my professor used to jocularly tell, search and research and stop searching. That's what, stop search. That's what he would be saying. And it is always, what we need to do is, that is an analytical bent of mind, and all the time searching for something. That is what, that inquisitive mind, not just simply gratifying with otherwise satisfying a contented mind will not be fit for the research writing. First, research. So always this inquisitive mind, and searching for something in this world, what is happening, what is being done, otherwise what is happening in and around in our field, and catching the trend especially. That is what is so very important. And those who are the first one to catch the trend is going to be the best researchers, I would say. That is what has happened with Elon Musk. That's what happened with Tesla, the old Tesla and the new Tesla. This our Elon Musk also. So please remember this thing, that catching the trend That will happen because purely because we need to be extremely thorough with what has been said and done in our chosen field, whether it is literature, linguistics, and ELT. Otherwise, you name no physics, chemistry, mathematics, whatever may be the subject. We are supposed to have a strong footage in the chosen field of study, especially the specialization, whatever we are trying to do. So most importantly, this is definitely research is a time consuming one. We cannot expect result just like that popping up in no time. Otherwise, in 1 month, one Scopus paper, 2 months, two Scopus papers. It is obviously, it is not possible provided we have worked enough. Let's say some 3 years, we have worked very consistently and constantly, rigorously with applying all our mind, analytical bent of mind, then definitely that communication, after the communication, maybe that we will be getting in getting this kind of information after 1.5 years or 1 year minimum. So we need to have, it is a game of patience. No, again, passion also. We need to have both passion and patience. And then only, we can definitely succeed in this thing. Most important thing, do we have the passion in our chosen field? It is because my supervisor is insisting. Otherwise, my college is insisting, university is insisting. If you start doing it, it will not work. So most important thing is we need to have a very, very strong grit and determination in our, and again, passion in our field. That's how we can do research. Otherwise, justify the research. That is what happened with the Krashan. Otherwise, the Bangalore project, you see our Bangalore project. Otherwise, let's say Suresh Kanagaraja of Pennsylvania State University, who is the dean of ELT today. And you see, think about these people. Otherwise, Stephen Krashan's work. Otherwise, the book by the David Crystal book. Otherwise, you take anybody. And language death, all these things. No, it's all tells. See, all these things tell us that we need to have the strong passion for whatever we do. Whether we are teaching, we need to have this strong quest and the passion to share our knowledge, whatever the new learning we have acquired in our particular chosen field. Then sharing with people will be of some use. Then people will definitely, that's what is happening in MIT, otherwise Harvard, Cambridge and all. If under one professor, if the professor opens one course, thousands and thousands of people are registering for the same course. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen with us. Means it is something is wrong with us. We need to fix it. So what is essential? First, to do research, we need to search and what has been said and what has been done in the particular field of study. And we need to exactly find out what is that not being said, reading between the lines, what is said and what is not said. And that is reading between the lines, and we need to decipher the research gap exactly and frame research question and hypothesis and justify. Then again, no, we need to, supposing we are going for a particular journal, means we need to read, let's say for the past 5 years journal papers of that particular journal. It is, as I told you, it is a game of patience as well as passion. And again, not only that thing, let's say you take any journal paper for that matter, let's say it will have a significant number of references, and we need to read perhaps all the stuff, whatever has been cited, otherwise work cited, the references we need to read. And we need to have the passion, and we need to be passionate enough to download the papers and whatever has been cited in that particular journal. Otherwise, this references, we need to go through this thing in order to have hands-on experience. It is not that only with we have to stop with research paper alone. We need to dive deep into the thing. That is what we call it now deep learning. So we need to apply this deep learning concept in our particular chosen field of study, whether it is ELT, literature, linguistics, chemistry, physics, you say whether engineering, whether medicine, law, business, otherwise we say any field of study. So we need to go for this deep dive and again deep learning, and this artificial intelligence will come automatically. What is that artificial intelligence? So it is something like extrasensory perception, reading between the lines and finding out exactly what has not been said, and that is what the catch. So with that, we need to build our hypothesis and again research question. Then we have to prove. In order to prove that it has not been said and done by any of the researchers so far, that is what the novelty of the paper. If any paper which is written with a novelty and a new idea, otherwise new knowledge, that is what exactly is called adding new knowledge to the existing knowledge. That is what is research. That is what is called exactly research. So research is adding new knowledge to the existing knowledge. So whether we are adding new knowledge to the existing knowledge, otherwise something simply, cut, copy, paste and old wine in a new bottle, that kind of stuff. Otherwise the attempt will definitely be a futile one. Let us understand this thing first. So we need to have a plan first, research plan. And it is a game of patience, as I told you. What is that we are writing for? Whom we are writing for? That clarity should be there. Imagine this local, that is any research should be started with the first, let's say in the primary level. Then again, we have to go to the next secondary level and again next level like this. What is that primary level? Just we need to fathom out what is there first. Just a bird's eye view of the journal. And again, who are all the people published in the journal? Let's say top 10 universities of this world. First to begin with MIT and Harvard. Then comes then Cambridge. Then comes this Yale University. Then comes this let's say Switzerland's university. Like this, universities are listed like this. Top 10 universities. And with the top 10 universities, papers and all is published in Nature, science journals. You see the best of the best journals and with highest impact factor. How is it happening only? All the Nobel laureates, they keep publishing their papers and publish their papers in this kind of Nature and science journal. How is it happening? Imagine 10,000 papers are submitted. The acceptance rate is only 5%, just 5%. And 0 acceptance 5% means 10,000 papers. See, it is not that today I am talking about. Take 20 years of 20 years of consolidated acceptance rate of these top journals. You will find that out of 20, let's say out of 10,000 submission, you find that 800 journals have been accepted in every year. 800 journal papers, which means out of 10,000, 800 means you calculate. That is less than 10% only papers are accepted, which means the highest of the highest standard they set themselves for publication. So it is not an ordinary.
Am I the only one who cannot hear?
And that is hello, somebody is trying to say something, please.
There was a minor technical disruption. You may kindly continue.
Yes, please. Anybody would like to say anything? You are most welcome. You can stop me anytime. I don't mind. And yes, shall we proceed? May I proceed?
Yes, absolutely, sir. Please.
Yeah. So first, we need to have the purpose. So what is the purpose of writing? We need to understand. And once that that is clear, then people will have the clarity. And again, we need to have a first standard operating procedure. And what is the standard operating procedure for any researcher? First, reading. It starts with reading. The moment we wake up, we need to sleep with books only. That is how it will happen. We need to sleep. That is first standard operating procedure is taking down notes. Let's say you are shut in a library, given food every day, every time, but not taking down notes and simply just reading will not work. So most important thing is, I told you, read between the lines what is said and what is not said, and what is the research gap. No research is complete for that matter. Every researcher leaves footprints. So this we have to catch, and that is leaves footprints for the future researcher. This is something it goes without saying. So every paper, that is the purpose of writing a review paper. So short communication, and short communication means minimum 5 years of papers of that particular journal in our chosen field, we have to choose and we have to target. We need to have this plan, and again, target should be there. Without target, and first purpose should be there. Why we are writing, whom I am writing, which journal I am writing, and then distraction. It is focus. Distraction we need to avoid. We need to stay focused when we want to publish an even local journal also. We need to stay focused. Focus is the key for success. And how this focus can be achieved, and forgetting, otherwise, no, avoiding all the other papers and journals, we need to focus on this particular journal. What are all the papers have been published and what kind of writing they have done. And again, we need to see the format. And most importantly, no, for wanting of one word, otherwise one word distracts the editor, means that paper will not be accepted, rejected summarily for this one word. And remember, then that is how this, out of 10,000 papers, only 840 papers, 850 papers, even 700 papers accepted in lead journals like Nature and Science and all. Please remember this thing. Why I am taking this thing means because any top-notch university, top 10 universities of the world, and they are vying for this kind of lead journals. That's how, and imagine we are going for Oxford journals, otherwise Cambridge journals in ELT, otherwise literature. They will also say the same thing. That is what is why these failure rates are coming, and why our journals are not, our journal papers are not getting accepted, because we don't have this clarity whom we are writing for, who is the reviewer, who is the editor of that particular journal, and what are all the works done by the editor. First, that we need to know. Who is the editor and how many papers he has, what is the profile of the editor, what is that editor has done so far. We have LinkedIn, luckily, and we have so many forums. We need to understand, see these things first. We need to constantly and consistently upgrading ourselves by attending various forums and forums proceedings like this kind of conferences, workshops, and then deliberations, which we had fruitful deliberation. That is how we need to keep upgrading ourselves. This continuous professional development is the key for anybody who can be a motivated researcher. That is the key. So one word will change our research. One word will change our life. One sentence, otherwise one program like this will change. So what is that purpose we need to identify? Secondly, we need to have a standard operating procedures like know how to do research. That is that one matters, because people have the passion but do not know this, do not know the procedure. That's the problem. Strategies and key skills. So what is that first thing? We need to read a lot. That's what. Yes. And the moment you start reading and taking down notes, and again summarizing the thing and making it as let's say beautiful review of literature. That's what review paper. So short communication. Let's say 5 years papers you download. Otherwise, 5 years paper you take and start writing a review paper. That will give you an idea that what has been said and done so far in this particular field, the latest papers, just 5 years. Then if you go dive deep into this thing, let's say take next 10-year papers. Then 10-year papers, again, this is first 5-year papers, whatever you have written, that you submit it to your supervisor, ask the supervisor to go through it and tell these are our view. Then after that, what happens? You get again, it's a kind of interest, otherwise involvement. Then go dive deep into this same kind of stuff. Again, go for next 10-year papers. Then this 10-year papers also you write. So first 5 years paper could be communicated as a short communication. It could be a book review. It could be a short review paper. That is what. So we need to aim for step-by-step approach. We need to go for first starting with a short communication. Even before that, we can go for a book review. And again, a book review will definitely enhance our skills. Honing up our skills of writing. Writing skills is so paramount importance. So what we need to do is, we need to go with the review, book review. Then again, after book review, you can go for journal reviews also. And again, after that, this summing up the one issue, one journal, let's say one issue, that reading all the papers and collating everything, and summing up and writing a thing. And that is how slowly and steadily we have to sharpen our writing skills. It's absolutely, it is something like key skill. Reviewing is something like analytical, with analytical bent of mind. We need to read and analyze, and what has been said and what has not been said. We need to find out the research gap, and we need to take up which one for which research gap, otherwise which research question. We have all this material, supporting materials, and again to further go further into this particular field of research. That is what is essential for doing a research. Any researcher, any field, whether it is physics, chemistry, mathematics, or science, you name anything, whether it is business, economics, you name any particular field, we need to have this kind of approach. So standard operating procedure is essential. Just take up the target journal and start focusing on last 5 years, last 10 years, then 15 years. Then 15 years, no, again, you will have a wonderful footage, that is a grip on this papers, that is reading all these 15 years papers. And again, 20 years if you make, then you will have a wonderful review of literature. That's what, 20 years papers. So you will have a strong footage, otherwise hold on whatever has been said in that particular field. We will speak with authority. We can write with authority that what has been said and done in the past 20 years. And supposing we stretch ourselves 25 years and 30 years, we will become definitely a master in that particular chosen field. And whatever we say, that's what that even the editor will oblige for whatever the comments. Otherwise, whatever we have written, the editor will definitely will find that you will be extremely happy about whatever we have written in that particular paper. So it is citing the papers, and again the citations from this particular same journal. These things will help the editor to understand that this particular writer, otherwise particular contributor of this paper, has done enough review of literature. That is what the key for understanding. Otherwise, the editor will understand that this person has done a genuine work, and this can be considered for further review. That's what, no, the first thing. It is not that simply whatever we write randomly. Why this success rate is very, very minimum, bare minimum. Why these papers are getting summarily rejected. Otherwise, no communication. After 1.5 years also, we don't receive even a small mail, otherwise a message. Not even no, the people revert for our call, otherwise our messages. So why it is happening? Because it doesn't follow any of the standard operating procedures, like reviewing the papers and going through this 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 25 years, 30 years. No such thing. If that is done, that is not done, definitely we are not going to have research, good research paper. So most important thing is diving deep into this journals and really doing a commendable work. That is what it requires, consistent and constant practice of writing, reviewing, and reviewing, and again working on that thing and finding out the real novelty, what has not been said, finding out the real research gap, and working on that thing with again supplementing with other readings and other learnings. That is how any successful paper will be written and is written. That's what I'm saying. So most important thing in our life is that working on this kind of papers and getting ourselves acclimatized with what has been said, what is not been said. So very, very interestingly, we need to go with the right kind of approach. This is what I mean by standard approach, standard operating procedure. So first thing is we have to write, and writing and again reviewing our own writing. This is what matters a lot, because normally we write, okay, whatever we have written is final. That's how we assume and presume. This will not work. This kind of complacency will take us nowhere. So let us understand this thing first. So what we need to do is we need to always focus on reviewing our own papers, and again giving it to our colleagues and giving it to our fellow researchers. Ask them to go through the papers, and because it is something like a teamwork, and again getting associated with the supervisor and supervisor's supervisor, which means guide and again another supervisor, and who is also an expert, subject expert in that particular field, because it is something like networking with people. It is not, see, normally people go and communicate with journalists. No, let's say when Professor Suresh Kanagaraja of Pennsylvania State University visited our university, he gave a talk on this research writing and publication of paper. He said his name has been included as the 257th author of that particular journal paper. You imagine what an amount of teamwork and collaboration, and again like-minded people. Not only like-minded people, it is the right-minded people's association. That is what will make a wonderful paper. It is not simply single man's work. So imagine 250 people have read that paper, which means the experts in that particular field have read that paper, and again they have offered their what is right, what is wrong. Like this, people have continuously and constantly reviewed the thing, and nothing will go wrong if this kind of collaborative work is done. And immediately that paper will be accepted. And that is what I'm saying. Sir, I in fact jocularly asked, sir, what is the secret behind this kind of achievements, sir? Because your profile is such that, and it is so very fascinating to see so many papers in
LinkedIn. Please. I have one question, sir, please.
Please, sir. Please, sir.
Sir, you talked about research gap. I am not getting what gap, what exactly means this gap in research. What is research gap? I mean, if you will please comment on this.
Sir, I didn't get you. Could you please repeat the question, sir?
So you talked about research gap.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Fine. I'm not exactly getting what type of gap is this in research. Will you please comment on this?
Wonderful. Very good, Rishu, sir. Very good question. What
Thank
is
you.
research gap? We need to understand this thing. And let's say research gap always means, let's say 5 years papers, I said. You take one paper also. What is, see, there is, the researcher would always try to address particular thing only, because no research is complete. I said already this point, which means understanding what is the paper is for paper's focus. That researcher is focusing on particular thing, and the 360-degree approach is there. So he will not, that particular researcher will not address all the 365 degrees of that particular research paper. Research, whether it is physics, chemistry, mathematics, or English you take. Okay. He will leave certain things unaddressed in that particular paper also. Not only in one paper, you take what has not been said in one paper, and the same way you take as many papers as possible in the same line of thinking. That is what we mean exactly by research gap. And again, this is not being under my limitations for this research. You will clearly tell. That is what in the, let's say, first you take any PhD research, otherwise, let's say research paper also. First, you will find that abstract. Abstract is the condensed form of what has been said and done in this entire paper. One should be write the abstract. Finally, after completing all the complete paper, you will write the abstract. And this abstract itself will give us throw us a light on what is there inside the paper. Then if we go for this introductory part, and again, what is being dealt exactly in that paper, that introductory part will say. Then again, when we go for the methodology, review will be there. What has been, see overall the paper. That's what I said, 5 years research papers, otherwise 10 years research paper, and select papers related to our work. We will cite. And that cited, work cited papers, whether in that those papers, that will form the research review. This research review will formulate the further work, that is the methodology. Otherwise, what the research gap will be, let us pinned, exactly pointed out by reviewing the literature. That research gap is the one thing which gives us to formulate the research question for further research. That is what will be the third thing that we do in the form of methodology. What is that exactly? What is that we are doing and how we are doing? That is what the methodology we say. Whether it applies to science and technology, otherwise even medicine, whatsoever, literature, whatever you take. So methodology. Then this methodology, let's say after that, we find that research analysis. The methodology, next comes analysis. That's what the findings you will find during this analysis, otherwise a complete presentation of the study. After this thing, you will find the findings and recommendations. During these findings and recommendations only, exactly what is exactly that researcher has found, And whatever he has not found, he will say, I am focusing only on this area, and my limitation, I limit my focus on this particular area only. These things are addressed by, maybe addressed by the future researchers. Like this, he will leave some footprint. That is what I mean, that any further research could be taken up by reading this kind of stuff, whatever that researcher has limited himself and what has not been done, and he leaves footprints for other researchers to follow. This has to be clearly understood by each and every researcher. That is what I mean by research gaps. I hope I have answered your question. So
Thank you, sir.
same
Thank you
kind of
very much.
thing, we need to go for 5 years papers, 10 years paper, 15 years, 20 years, 25, 30 years. If we do like this, any Scopus paper, whether it is IEA, FOR journal, otherwise Cambridge journal, you name whether it is Rupkada journal, you name any Scopus index journal, will simply accept. And most important thing is whether we are working for writing for Rupkada journal, and it is a multidisciplinary journal, and it is there. So what we need to do is we need to take up 20, 30 years papers, no other go, and see the format first. Who are all the editors for the 30 years, and what kind of expectation, what kind of style, language, and again, what kind of sentences they have used, what kind of introduction, conclusion, and research findings and methodology. Everything should be understood by us. Then if we stick to that kind of format and systematic approach and writing things, definitely that paper will instantaneously get clicked, get a click. That which means it will be a successful paper for acceptance. I'm not giving that let's say assurance that it will be accepted, and it is for accepted for review. So in order to reach that point, we need to figure out what is that we are doing and how we are doing, and what is to be done. This 30 years will work. This understanding of 30 years, and sometimes you see Q1 journal. We talk about Q1 journal. All these top-notch institutions papers. I said no. There's Nature and Science. This kind of Cambridge, Oxford journals and all. They come under Q1 journals. Q1 journal means it will be for 60 years. Please remember, this will not be removed by any of the Scopus thing. So Q2 journal, this will be minimum for 30 years. Q3 journals, at least 10 years will be there. Q4 journals only, all these predatory journals, 1 year, 2 years or 5 years journal. So why people I see last year, I spent 1,20,000 rupees for processing charges of my papers. Then what happened? It got accepted by this Scopus indexed journals list. And again, after 1 year, 1.5 years, all the journals have been removed from the Scopus index thing. Why it has happened? Because predatory journals, please remember, we should not be carried away by simply acceptance rate alone. So what we need to do, we have to go for the 60 years journals and 30 years journals, which means Q1, we have to always focus on Q1 journals. And Q2 means minimum 30 years it will be there. That is why we have to visit the Scopus index, that is Scopus website, and see how long this journal has been there. So that's what I said. We need to have the clarity and aim and goal and target should be there. Are we targeting for Q3 journals or Q4 journals? Q4 journals, definitely be sure and rest assured, next year that will not be there in the Scopus list. Q3 journal, maybe 1 year or 2 years or 3 years will be there till you submit the PhD thesis. And maybe that depends upon your luck. We cannot predict that also, how long this journal will be there in Scopus, because the Scopus and Web of Science and Thomson Reuters, you see this Clavariate, these things, we need to understand what is that they are looking for exactly. Standard, quality. It's not only quality and not only quantity and quality. Very, very important thing for us. So we need to always have this quality conscious and focus on this acceptance rate, and again accordingly, because we cannot change the Scopus, but we can change ourselves. According to their expectation, we can live up to their expectations and raise our standards. That's what. So every time we have to work on our quality and quality writing. Once this quality rating is achieved, let us be rest assured that success rate of acceptance is guaranteed for 100%. So it begins with, that's what I said, we need to read wonderful, see, so that's what beautifully, again, I am citing this Francis Bacon. Some books are to be tasted. Some books are to be tasted. Some books are to be chewed. Some books are to be swallowed. Some books are to be digested. that is what we need to go for, which can be digested. That is what the thing, the journal paper which stand in the test of the current of what is the time, test of time, that's 30 years, 40 years, 50 years journal. And those kind of journals, let's say Cambridge, you say 500, 600, 700 years old. You see the thing, they have been running this thing, publication industry, the huge thing, they are trillions and trillions of dollars they are making through this, what is that, whether from pre-KG to PhD books. You see, take any genre for that matter, any discipline, whether it is physics, chemistry, science, social sciences, and again economics, sociology, psychology, you name anything, any subject, because they have been in the field for the past 500, 600, 700, 800 years. That is what the history of these people. Let us understand this thing. We need to raise the standard of our level in order to match with this, their expectations. This is not an ordinary joke, but it is absolutely possible within this 3 years. That's why PhD is meant for 3 years. And first year, we need to understand this, first how this research works and what is research and why we need to do this thing. And that course, or during the coursework time itself, we need to have which journal we are going to, this is what we need to talk with this supervisor and start doing our work consistently and constantly. That will definitely happen. There is no shortcut for quality research. And please remember this thing, hard work will pay off. Otherwise, it is this shortcut method. Otherwise, simply going with back door, this kind of things will not work. And again, having somebody to write this ghost author work, it will not work with it will click with the ordinary Q4 journals. You can buy paper and publish in Q4, Q3 and all. Whereas getting into this Q2 and Q1 journal, absolutely next to impossible. Absolutely next to impossibility. That's what I would say. So please remember, it is methodically done, systematically done. Those who fit into the system of those who are very, very systematic, those who are really organized and stay ready to stay focused in that particular field, to play the game of patience, and those who have this strong passion and commitment and hard work, they can definitely achieve this result of getting published in Scopus Journal and Web of Science, Thomson Reuters, you name anything. It is absolutely possible. It is 100% possible, provided we have this grit and always matters. So I stop here. Anybody would like to ask any question, you are most welcome to, yes, do so, please. So far, we have discussed about what is one of you can sum up also, whether what kind of understanding has been made, we will see.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. Happy evening, sir.
Good evening. Earlier, it was some technical issue when I wanted to mute it.
Absolutely fine, sir. That's okay. We can understand. Yeah.
You posed a question why we write. It is simply that we write to express ourselves or to express what we explore. But when it comes to express something, we are helpless to take the support of language, the only full-scale tool we can use.
Okay.
But the problem is this: do we really express by language whatever there is in our mind or we feel? Earlier, you told when we say, I love you, but these three words do not express the feeling of a person in which he has fallen. Okay. Do you agree with this, sir?
Sir, actually, it depends, sir. It is contextual, actually. It is subjective. Answer is subjective. I leave it your choice.
Now, the concern is this. Suppose we are having a novel or a short story before us for a review writing. How can we be able to analyze the emotions or feelings which are yet to be revealed by the storyteller or the author, or which are yet unexpressed feelings or emotion? How we can analyze?
So very good thing, sir. You said, unless and until we go dive deep. Let's say now you see this thing, the famous lines of Robert Frost. I quote: "Woods are lovely, dark and deep. Miles to go before I sleep. Miles to go before I sleep." This is these are the lines which our Nehru, that is former Prime Minister Nehru, the first Prime Minister of India, he had this thing. What is that on his table? These lines can be interpreted in so many ways. Let's say if I ask Sabina madam, she will interpret in different way. And if I ask, Power sir, he will definitely interpret in different way. And it will mean something to Garima madam. You see the thing, that's what I'm saying. And this is what the beauty of poetry. And again, same way, research also, you see the thing, but research is more scientific in nature. But it is, poetry is subjective in nature. We can give multiple ways of, let's say, presentation as well as the arriving at the meaning is possible. Same is possible there with the research also. That's what we prose or let's say laboratory research. You take up anything. It is a book review or poetry review or prose, novel, you name anything. Any different genres will definitely come under this thing. Adding new knowledge to the existing knowledge is absolutely possible because you are looking from a different perspective. That is 100%. Whether it is right or wrong, that is immaterial. But whether you are able to see things, because this is what has happened with Newton. So many people have gone to see this orchard, and what made Newton to catch that this gravitational pull? Because he had that beautiful, what is that, observation skill. That is what is essential. Please, this kind of curiosity and observation skills. That's why beautifully it is said, books are dull and endless strife. You see, quit your book. See, up my friend, quit your books. Books, see, what is that? He means books are definitely, it's, we have to go beyond the books. That's what I initially said. We need to go beyond the books. That is what our intuition, with the intuition only, because when we go for this kind of very deep dive into this particular subject, and I said, as I told you, it's a game of patience. Then patience as well as passion. What happens? Our intuition works. Then our intuition is the guiding light, which helps us to find out something what has not been said. Otherwise, what has been said, we understand with our mind. That intuition helps us. Oh, this could be the new approach. That is what the intuition job of the intuition. Otherwise, intuition comes to our rescue. That intuition is nothing but our fraction mind of the totality. That's what. So whatever the totality, otherwise the super consciousness thinks through this person, otherwise this researcher, that is what happens, see, with all the greatest and greatest of the elitist of the Nobel laureates, otherwise, let's say Edison, otherwise this Tesla, otherwise old Tesla. You take anybody that even know this entrepreneurs, greatest of the top 10 companies, or Fortune 500 companies, people. This is what exactly happens with this intuition. And that is what this EMI concept is, an intuition work. 28 days recharge, 30 days to 28 days is an intuition again. You see, that is how any concept works. So it is something like, we need to think out of the box. This out of the box thinking, otherwise something thinking beyond what has been said and done. And how we can add new knowledge is something like how committed are we? Whether we are, see, we are in the hands of the God. If you believe in the believe in God. Otherwise, if you believe in the nature, we are instrument in the hands of nature. Are we submitting ourselves completely, diving deep into this mother nature, and we are open for this new ideas and innovations and thoughts? That is what ultimately makes the perfect research, I would say. So it is absolutely, it is very, very open for new knowledge and new ideas and new thoughts and thinking. That is what exactly happens when it comes to the writings. And again, this is something like it's a game of patience as well as patience. So we need to do this way only. There is no other go. That's what my humble submission, sir. Yes. Yeah. Any other questions, sir? I hope.
Thank you so much, Ridhar, sir, and thank you so much, Dr. Saravanan, for responding to that question.
Thank you, sir.
Do you have any more questions?
Anybody would like to ask anything, you are most welcome. And again, how long I can go? How many minutes are left with? Because I shouldn't be
So it's a
stopping
privilege to have you here.
And no, sleep. How many more minutes, ma'am?
So we still have 15
Sabina,
minutes. We still have 15 minutes, sir.
Oh, right. 15 more minutes. Okay. Then we will go again now. This anybody wants to ask anything, please feel free. Dinosha, ma'am, please, ma'am.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yeah. Parvesh sir, you're audible, sir. Go ahead, sir. Your voice is cracking, Parvesh.
Well,
Maybe you can remove your headset and speak through your voice so that I can get you.
Dr. Parvez, your voice is breaking.
Or adjust your mic. Voice is breaking there.
While you check your technical glitch, sir, I request Ms. Nanapu to kindly pose her question.
So. Yeah, I too think that way.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. Good evening, ma'am.
Dinosha, ma'am, yes, please go ahead.
It was it was really an enlightening talk. Thank you so much, sir. We happen to know a lot. What I'd like to know further is, in order to publish our articles in Q1 journal or Q2 journals, you asked us to go through the articles of that journal for the past 10 years or 15 years or how much however we want. Like, so in some journals, what happens is we are not given the access to the articles. So in that case, in that case,
I agree for this thing. Like, let's say any institution for that matter, ma'am. You see, ma'am, abstract is open, ma'am. It is not contents. You see the thing, abstract is open always. And again, any top-notch universities, otherwise institutional access is there with this kind of lead journals. Mean you can go through this, take the help of this librarian, and you can get exactly that paper can be downloaded. So we need. That's what I told you. Research is all about teamwork. It is networking with people. Suppose I don't get a paper, I need to write to Shabina madam to, could you please, no ma'am, could you please help me by downloading this paper? So this is how you need to work with people. And suppose I don't get the paper from Sabina madam, I need to write to Suresh Kanagaraja sir. Sir, please, LinkedIn is there. Write a message, leave a message, drop in a message stating that, sir, I am interested in reading your paper. See, that's what exactly happens with the research gates. It comes every week. See, these many people have read your paper, Saravanan. And your Suresh Kanagaraja sir has released a paper. Otherwise, he has reviewed. He has published a paper. Why don't you read this thing? Like this, no, it is popping up. That is the advantage of the technology. Sitting here and asking, see, ma'am, you please, you see one thing, ma'am. Suppose you are getting a date with what is that Shah Rukh Khan. You happen to meet him. And how would you introduce yourself with Shah Rukh Khan? You are an ardent fan. I have watched this particular movie 10 times, 100 times, 20 times. You say, he will immediately, he will recognize you, you will feel happy. That is how, suppose, yes, see, people like Professor Kanagaraja sir, otherwise, let's say, Kumaraswamy sir, otherwise our Bangalore counterpart, this Bangalore project and Chennai project, you see the thing. So what is that I'm saying is, by reading their own papers and citing their papers in our research papers, that could be even for a small conference work, local conference thing. If you talk about, let's say, this Stephen Krishan, otherwise you talk about our David Gridal, then again citing these people and again throwing light on their thoughts, then again reading their work. And again, this is how we get associated with the people, and you write to them, keep in touch with these people, and that is how you get a chance to do research under them. Otherwise, collaborating with these kind of great people, and again, you can do postdoc with those professors, and again, you can cite their papers by. That's how. See, it is something like developing, otherwise building a rapport with Shah Rukh Khan or Salman Khan. Otherwise, let's say Amitabh Bachchan. How do we do? By watching their movies repeatedly and citing that, telling them that I have watched this movie. Otherwise, listening to Rahman's music. That is what it's all about. So, the more you listen and the more you say something about their work, they get immediately know that magnetism works, chemistry works immediately. Oh, such an ardent fan. Okay, let me spare 1 or 2 minutes with them. That is we say elevated pitch. So do we develop this kind of elevated pitch with anybody in our chosen field? That is what is important. So it is always networking is a net worth. People say these are the things. Everybody is an asset in our field, whether they work, whether they do research or not. In our chosen field, whoever is there on LinkedIn, we need to go with, that's what, not only like-minded people, it is right-minded people with whom we need to develop this association and start working on collaborative research. Not only collaborative research, collaborative paper publication, and again, this project funding. You right, that's what, maybe they may be the, what is that, prime investigator, principal investigator. We can be a co-PI, thereby how to write for funding, project funding. The same way this project funding, you will learn, get to know, they will handhold you and take you through every process, let's say step by step, how the professor is helping, that is doing this funding, writing this proposal for project funding. Same is the case with the papers also. We might not be knowing what exactly is involved in writing a research paper, but joining hands with somebody, like, downloading the paper and going through the paper and telling our views and opinion about how they have done otherwise research, then whether this paper has got any originality, novelty, otherwise any grammatical mistake, otherwise let's say cohesion and coherence is there, flow of idea is there, like this, finding something known and encouraging them, okay, this paper has come really well, like this, by telling something, some of our views. That's how we collaborate with a particular researcher. Otherwise, we can become a partner in that paper. That is how. Otherwise, it will not work. This is our network. Is our network. Let's say I'm sitting here in Tamil Nadu, and again I'm talking with how I got to know about this Cape Comorin, literally zero. And somehow they came to me. This is the third, fourth time I'm giving a talk like this. You see the thing. That so you understand this thing. What is that exactly? It is something like if we go in a direction, particular direction. That is what we call it law of attraction, law of nature. You see the rule of that is nature, otherwise law of nature. Whatever the mind, that is the fraction demands, the totality supplies. If you have the will to do particular thing, you have the strong will, innate passion for writing a research paper in Cambridge, otherwise Oxford journals, absolutely, your wish is my command. That's what he says. You see the thing, law of attraction works. It will pull the people, materials, and matter, paper, pen, everything will come automatically to your place. And again, all the networking, and again, these professors, everybody you will get the connections, and the people, everything will come. All the support and help will come from. That is what the work of the Providence. What is that we need to do? We need to go in a right direction, right passion, and right kind of hard work and right chemistry. That positivity, exuberate positivity in whatever we do. That kind of things, if we start doing and go in that particular direction, everything will fall in line. We can definitely achieve the target of publishing in lead journals. Absolutely possible. Whether it is chemistry, physics, maths, biology, you say any subject for that matter, 100% it will work, 200%. So what is that we need to have? We need to have this will. That is what, your wish is my command. That's what always the genie says. Are we ready to listen to the genie? It is not one wish. Hundreds and hundreds of wish can be fulfilled, provided we are ready to steadfastly ask for the thing and we stand for the thing. It is absolutely, that is, the genie will work. That's what, the genie is nothing but our mind. How much we magnetize the mind, and again, how much we stay focused on this mind. That's what researchers should always, reading is something like a brain work. Please remember, eyes are the windows to this brain. How much we read and how much we fill ourselves. It is not just saying like, no, reading maketh a full man. How brimfully we have read, how extensively we have read, how deeply we have read something in this particular chosen field of, then again, how much we know in this particular field. That is what matters exactly when it comes to publication. You see, not only brevity is the soul of it. We would have read, let's say, 20 paper journals and all. How much we condense it, and how much briefly we tell that we have, see, so and so as Shabina ma'am in 2017, she has done this thing and she has done this, and my perspective is different from whatever Shabina ma'am has done. Isar sir as 2016, he has published this paper and he is trying to say et al, Isar and et al. It means so many people have joined and together. And again, Pawar Navnath in 2014 has said this thing and they've done this paper. And they are trying to do this. They've done this thing. And my approach to this paper is different. That is how you systematically and coherently and cohesively you are putting forward all your reviews, and again in what way you are going to give a new dimension to the same work only. You see, people say Shakespeare has been overworked, Shelley has been overworked. Nothing like that. You see, they are very much relevant even today. If you have the will to write a thesis on Shakespeare, it's 100% accepted, provided we need to have the grit and determination to go through what has been said and done by all the researchers, whoever has worked in the field of in the field of this particular author, that is Shakespeare. And we need to have the grit and determination to go through whatever has been said and done. We need to understand and decipher, and in what way our approach to Shakespeare is different. That is what exactly is getting published. The same way ELT also. You can see, and one more thing, easy, that I will give you one shortcut to get papers published in ELT. Let's say, now gone are the days that, going with, papers and such things. You work on, you work on classroom-based research. This is the most important thing, because infusing the already established theories and infusing for classroom-based research. Let's say you are teaching vocabulary today and you are teaching speaking skills. Otherwise, you are teaching, let's say listening skills. And you need to collect the data, because data driven, anything and everything you say, based on your data, whatever has been collected, if you tell that with authentically, with the data, collected data, that will be accepted. So, and in support your, whatever you are speaking in this particular paper, you need to have that thing. That is how we need to infuse necessary supporting materials, like already established theories, and not only that, and collecting the data. That is what will make a wonderful ELT research. Otherwise, without data, and if you something cooked up data, means in no time people will find out. Experts will identify within 2 lines how many words we have copied continuously. Next to four words continuously if we take, that is called plagiarism. We cannot plagiarize the ideas and otherwise the topics and the such thing. So that's why I'm saying we need to always think in terms of going for deep learning, dive deep into the thing. That is when these ideas will definitely, the originality will come, and we can know whatever we say, that will become very authentic, and there won't be any second opinion from the editor that this person has done the real research, or for something like humbug. So easily people will find out and identify that whether our work is a real work or this fraudulent one. That's what. So what matters is, we need to always know go with the teacher's diary. What works inside the classroom? What doesn't work inside the classroom? What went well today? What did not go well today? That kind of teacher's diary. Whether you teach physics, chemistry, or maths, no problem. You need to have a teacher's diary with you. This is what I mean by standard operating procedure. Whether you teach for, let's say, pre-KG to postdoc, otherwise doctoral research, you teach from pre-KG to PhD students, whatever may be the thing. What you need to do is, you need to go. Let's say people teach for English for researchers and English for the pre-KG students. What is that well received? But because every learner is unique, learning styles are also equally unique. What fits for what works in my class might not work in, let's say, Sarita ma'am's class. What works for Sarita ma'am might be working in one of the classes of mine. So learners as the learners are different, learning styles are unique, and learning styles are also equally different. So we need to understand. And again, this is what we say we mean by customer delight. We have this customer delight? Overall, the customers, otherwise stakeholders in a particular journal paper. You see, first the editors, chief editor, then again the publisher. These people will have to will have to be convinced by writing, by looking at our paper. They have to get convinced. And again, we need to also understand that that our paper is accepted by crossing these people only. Then only it comes for the public. So most important thing is getting the people convinced about whatever we have written is the best thing. For that, we need to have this kind of rigorous writing practice, because you see, I am the best, I am the best, I am the best. That's what our Muhammad Ali. So all the time focusing, staying focused, what my opponent will be thinking. And like this, what the editor will be expecting, what is that exactly he's expecting? That is what always we need to think, that once we are ready to fulfill the editor's expectation, and again novelty, and again the different perspective to the same thing, then people will definitely accept the paper, and it will be instantaneously accepted, and definitely then with the minor correction, maybe maybe the editor will say this has to go to the front, otherwise that has to be pushed to the end, and maybe you can read this conclusion part, otherwise this summary could be again polished, fine-tuned, otherwise maybe word limit, they will say this word limit has exceeded, otherwise it is very less, can we have some more inputs on this particular thing, like this. Editor will give the positive comment, that definitely people can rework on that, and definitely fulfill the expectations of the editor, that will definitely accepted by the journal. So this is the secret behind publishing in a Scopus journal. Otherwise, even a local conference paper also, we need to have the strong footage in this thing. So always my humble submission recommendation is, please go to the local let's say local webinars, seminars, conferences. Never leave anything. That's what I'm saying. Continuous and constant professional development is the key for success in any field of study. Let's say whether it is English, math, physics, chemistry, medicine, law, otherwise let's say business, anything and everything. Continuous professional development and listening is the key. Because why people do not get papers published? Because vocabulary matters. Vocabulary is word power, is manpower. If you want to become so very powerful, that it should it should be just something like a perennial flow of words. And how to get this kind of mastery in vocabulary? Absolutely, it is the credit goes to the listening only. The more we listen, the more we read. These are the two passive skills through which we can build and establish ourselves. With that, these two productive skills are coming. This speaking and writing. So this is how we need to do. And it's my it's my humble submission that both the passive skills and the productive skills should be well balanced. And anybody would like to ask anything, you are most welcome.
Thank you so much, Dr. Saravanan, and thank you, Dhanisha, for your question. If I may add to this, for us from the old worlds, we usually rely on our libraries for all the information, not just in terms of books and journals that might be there, but because of today in our world, library information services have proved to be the most important ways of collecting sources as far as research are concerned. Maybe that could be of help to you. I'm afraid because of we're running out of time, we might have to conclude here. We have a lot of questions. Dr. Saravanan, for you, will hopefully be requesting all the participants to post the questions to the coordinators, and we'd forward them to Dr. Saravanan for responding to them. What I have understood here, so as beginners, for participants who are beginning their research, it is a game of passion. Publication, unfortunately or fortunately, has become one of the reasons why we write. But I will go back to the beginning of your beautiful presentation where you said the purpose of writing has to be because I want to write, not because I want to get published, even though publishing will automatically follow if your writing is good enough. If you're following the standard operating procedures, if you're consistent and constant in the practice of writing, reviewing your own writing, coming up with research that is worth being published, it will certainly get published. And again, as you said, Edison, you had to go for 1,000 unsuccessful attempts at inventing the incandescent electric bulb. So before getting published in UGC Care or in Scopus Index journals, our researchers might have to undergo the same kind of unsuccessful attempts. But yes, with these words, I'd like to thank Dr. Saravanan Velayudham for being a part of the first day, the second session of the week-long International Virtual Faculty Development Program. Hoping that we'll be hearing from you again in the coming times. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am, and thank you so much for beautifully summing up the entire thing. And it's really, rightly said, this Edison's work, you see, it's an awesome example. That's how he never said that 108 times I failed. He said, no, every time I did, I have invented something. That's how this positivity.
I found what not to do and how to follow.
Yes.
Thank you very
Absolutely.
much,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Saravanan, for
Thank
being
you.
with us.
Thank
for
you,
the
everyone, for
participants.
this wonderful opportunity. And again, I wish each and every one of you a great research experience and a great publication. You need to, that's what, no, the more we publish, let's say, publication also involves in, no, not necessarily Scopus alone. You see this publishing books for pre-KG students to PhD. That's what you can try. There are so many avenues. It is not necessarily the Scopus alone. It doesn't end with Scopus. It doesn't start with Scopus alone. You can think of publishing papers and publishing books, writing books, not only for not only this writing books for PhD. Otherwise, let's say even graduate student, you can go for bend yourself and go down to this. Have this research experience for writing even for the PKG students and LKG, UKG, first standard like this. You see, that is 10 lakhs people. Let's say 15,500. See, 15 lakhs 50,000 schools plus schools are there in India. Imagine how many students will be studying in LKG alone. What kind of trillion? It's a $1 trillion business, I would say. English is something like it's a $1 trillion business. Whoever is ready to write and publish, you are most welcome. That's what. Now there is dearth of people for writing. My humble submission is, let us spruce up, and again let us fine tune and polish our writing skills, and definitely we have a wonderful future. Wishing you all the very best and fruitful career in writing and publishing and getting patented. And it's not only patent, you can get this copyrights for your books, and that will give what is the passive income. Because why I am asking you all, the writing is one time. You think about Robin Sharma, 27 years back, he wrote that the monk who sold his Ferrari. Today he is offering monk who sold his Ferrari method by 26 years old book. You see, these courses are sold like hotcakes. How is it possible? That's what Francis Bacon rightly said. Writing maketh an exact man. 26 years back, he wrote the book. 15 million copies have been sold. You see the thing. How much royalty you'll be getting? That is what exactly writing will make you so very rich. Every teacher deserves a decent and dignified life by writing for the people. Writing is meant for the next generation, generations to come. And whatever we speak, luckily the technology is there, so it can go. If it is there on YouTube, people will watch. But whereas writing is something like, if we write really the stuff, the quality thing, it will stay forever. That is how Shakespeare lives, because he wrote. And again, you see all university wits. You take, for example, again, all the romantic poets, and again, the latest Rowling, you see, Rowling, J.K. Rowling, she started writing sitting in the Cafe Day Coffee house, and now you see how she was homeless particular time. Now you see, she is the extraordinary and super duper richest woman. And that goes with all the great and extraordinary people. So writing is the best form of expression. Wishing you all the best and wonderful writing of journals, papers, and books and whatnot. Wishing you all the very best, and thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity.
Thank you so much, Dr. Saravanan. We
Thank
take your
you,
leave today, but before we end the meeting, I request all the participants that we'll be reconvening tomorrow at 6. We'll be starting our third technical session, for the first session for the second day. And all of you will be requested to kindly join 10 minutes prior to the program, to the commencement of the program. That means at 5:50, you'll all be joining us tomorrow. And Dr. Saravanan, hoping to see you soon, and hoping to discuss more about
connecting with you all. This wonderful people.
We'll be taking your leave, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you all.